All right, moms, welcome back to the Holistic Mom Life Podcast. I'm Jessica Tiskey, ER nurse, Christian fitness coach, wife, and mom of two. Today's episode is probably going to make you feel a little uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. Let me start with a question. Have you ever wondered why so many people are told that diabetes is lifelong, but no one talks about how to actually reverse it? If you've heard the words, you'll be on this medication for life, or it just runs in your family, or there's nothing you can do except for manage it, say with me. That's only one side of the story. Today, we're actually going to be flipping the script. I'm speaking to you as an ER nurse who sees this daily and as a woman who believes that we deserve the truth. So we're going to go there. Is diabetes really for life, or is that just what keeps Big Pharma in business? If you've heard this is just what you have to manage, I want to tell you that's not the whole truth. We're actually going to dive into the truth behind diabetes. We're confronting the pharmaceutical pipeline, the root cause of insulin resistance, and why functional medicine is revolutionizing the conversation. I'm going to share how you can reverse your diabetes holistically. Type 2 diabetes is caused by years, sometimes decades of insulin resistance, which happens when your body is overwhelmed with high sugar, high carb, low nutrient foods. You eat and insulin rises. You snack and insulin spikes again. Do that all day, every day, and your body becomes numb to insulin. It needs more and more insulin to move that sugar into your cells until eventually it just stops responding. Insulin resistance is reversible, and that's backed by studies from institutions like the National Institutes of Health and the American Diabetes Association. They are telling us exactly what it is that we need to know, but instead in the American population, people are more likely to be lazy than to do something proactively. With our population, we perish because of a lack of knowledge. This is public information. The American population perishes because of lack of knowledge, right? Lack of wisdom, lack of understanding, lack of literally just going to look for the facts before we just take a pill. Interventions such as intermittent fasting, exercise, and carb restriction have been shown to restore insulin sensitivity in a matter of weeks. Food for thought. The point of today's episode is to break chains and build knowledge. Now, I'm not here to bash doctors, but let's be honest about America's medical system. It's built on treating symptoms, not curing root causes. The diabetes industry alone is projected to hit $64 billion by 2026. That is a lot of money made from keeping people on meds like insulin, Ozempic, and Glipizide for the rest of their lives. No one profits when you reverse diabetes with things such as intermittent fasting and strength training, but you can reverse it. I've seen women's hemoglobin A1Cs drop from the diabetic range to normal just by changing how often and what they eat. You're not broken. Our medical system is. All right. Now, before we go any further, let me set the tone with something calming, such as your nighttime routine. I've been winding down with Yalistic's brand new lavender tea soap, and moms, this is not your basic lavender. It's infused with real botanicals and essential oils that help to soothe anxiety, calm the nervous system, and prep your body for restorative sleep. You need to start winding down with Yalistic's brand new lavender tea soap. And moms, this is not your basic lavender soap. It's infused with real botanicals and essential oils that help to soothe your mom anxiety, calm your nervous system, and prep your body for restorative sleep. Lavender has been clinically shown to lower cortisol levels and improve your sleep quality. And this soap is the perfect way to bring that into your nighttime routine. If you're local to Brooklyn, shop the full line of Yalistic products at The Spot NYC or Earth and Meat in Park Slope. Otherwise, head to YalisticMBW.com and grab your bar of peace. When I was a new nurse, I had a patient, a young mom, come into the ER in full DKA. She was terrified, she was alone, and she was confused because her doctor told her that her diabetes was mild and manageable. She didn't know that she could actually reverse it because no one told her that was possible. Most people believe that type 2 diabetes is a disease for life, but functional medicine practitioners actually believe that type 2 diabetes is not a chronic disease, but a foodborne condition that's 100% preventable and reversible. The core issue is that insulin resistance caused by high sugar, high carb diets, and metabolic dysfunction. And guess what? That means your diagnosis is not your identity. You can reverse it. Thousands already have. Now, you already know that I partner with brands that I personally use, and First Form is my go-to. Their level 1 protein tastes like a milkshake and fuels my body without spiking my blood sugar. It's ideal for my ladies navigating insulin resistance, okay? I recommend their OptiGreens and their magnesium supplements too, especially if you're starting with fasting or cutting sugar. You can find all my First Form picks linked in the show notes or go to firstform.com. Now, let's be real. If diabetes is reversed, the 60 $64 billion industry is going to collapse. We don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system, if you really think about it. And that's not me being cynical. That's the reality of it all. Even though I work in healthcare, there are a lot of things that I agree with and that I don't agree with. And as an ER nurse, there are a lot of things that I agree with in terms of like the way that we treat patients. And there are also things that I don't agree with in terms of the grand scheme of things. It has a lot to do with the lack of knowledge in our education system and also just the way that people are educated on their health to begin with. Over the past couple of years in my passion for health and fitness and my passion for more functional medicine, I've learned a lot over the years, and I've also realized that there are a lot of things that people don't know, and it's simply because of the fact that they're already in too deep in the medicines that they're already taking or the methods that they're already seeing that work. Or it could be just sheer laziness, or not even laziness. It could just be that people don't know better. And a lot of times, if you know better, you will do better. Dr. Hyman, a functional medicine practitioner, he talks about this openly. When patients make dietary and lifestyle changes, they don't need drugs anymore, right? But the system doesn't reward you not needing to take drugs anymore. That's why functional medicine is powerful. It's putting healing back in your hands. That's exactly what Big Pharma doesn't want. What I do want to say is that over a year and a half ago, I think a little bit longer, even though I have used intermittent fasting with my clients in the past and it has been part of my protocols, I actually discovered this other doctor, Dr. Mindy Pelz, and I'm sure that you've heard of her. And if you haven't, go look her up. She wrote this book called Fast Like a Girl. When I read her book and I dove deeper into the research on the benefits of intermittent fasting, the way she speaks about it, I was like, oh my God, like why are there so many women struggling with diabetes, PCOS, insulin resistance simply because of this lack of knowledge that we just either don't know to look for or just nobody tells you about it, right? So as soon as I found out about this method, as soon as I learned about she writes in her book and also just like what functional medicine practitioners are sharing with people and telling people that they need to know, I was like, oh my God, I need to tell everybody. And so that's exactly what I did. Any person that I knew struggling with weight loss, I spoke to about her book because it's not the cure all to everything, but it can definitely help with a lot of common things that women deal with, especially when it comes to losing weight, gut issues, hormonal imbalance. So definitely go read that book, Mindy Pelz, Fast Like a Girl. I think Dr. Mindy Pelz. So in that book, she actually speaks about how powerful fasting can be for hormone balance and blood sugar regulation. She recommends syncing fast with your cycle, and it's worked wonders for women with PCOS, insulin resistance, and more. Dr. Mark Hyman also promotes this thing called a vegan diet, which is real food, mostly plant, quality protein, and healthy fats. No processed junk and no sugar. That combo is healing people every day. In the book Fast Like a Girl, Mindy Pelz lays out how women can cycle intermittent fasting in sync with their hormones. She recommends different fasts such as really common 16-8, 24-hour fast, and there's even a 36-hour fast. She recommends these types of fasts throughout the month to help reset your insulin, support your gut, and reduce inflammation. These are not starvation diets. They're cellular healing tools that trigger this thing called autophagy, which is a process where your body cleans out those damaged cells and regulates your insulin, and it burns fat for fuel, decreasing our total body fat in general. And here's what the science actually says happens during that fast. It says that your insulin drops, right? Which is the main point here. And that allows your body to tap into fat stores. Growth hormone is going to rise, and that's going to help to preserve your lean muscle. Cortisol is going to stabilize, which actually reduces anxiety and your stress cravings. Blood pressure and cholesterol are going to improve. Fatty liver disease starts to reverse. And even the American Health Association has noted that fasting is actually going to improve your heart health and your insulin sensitivity. God created our bodies to heal when we rest, right? Fasting is a physiological Sabbath, if you really think about it. It's a way to give your organs a break and invite healing. We want to invite healing into the picture so that we can, heal ourselves. So that we can regulate our blood sugar and just so you don't have to take metformin for the rest of your life. From a functional medicine standpoint, you cannot pill away what food and movement cause. Exercise is one of the fastest ways to improve insulin sensitivity, especially resistance training. Even walking after meals can actually significantly blunt your blood sugar spikes. One study in 2022 showed that just 2 minutes of walking after eating can improve your glucose response. But we've been conditioned to believe that prescription pills are more powerful than our choices. That is a lie. You have the power to break the generational curse of diabetes. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis to start fighting for your health. And moms, this is not just about us. Type 2 diabetes used to be called adult onset But now kids as young as 8 are being diagnosed with diabetes. Our kids are inheriting not just our DNA, but they're inheriting our habits. If we normalize soda, snacks, skipping breakfast, and scrolling instead of walking, we're training their bodies for dysfunction in the long run. We can rewrite the narrative. What we model in our kitchens and bodies becomes their blueprint for health in the long run. So it starts at this very young age. Now, a sidebar, but not really a sidebar. Did you know that high blood sugar doesn't just mess with your energy, but it actually can hurt your kidneys too? Your kidneys are like neighborhood filters cleaning your blood every day. But if your sugar levels stay high, those filters get worn out and they start leaking protein. It's like letting money slip through your fingers. If this goes too long, your kidneys fail. And 1 in 3 people with diabetes end up developing some form of kidney damage. And many of those might eventually need dialysis or a transplant if it's not caught early. Thankfully, early screening like urine and blood tests can catch it before it becomes serious. But if you're able to reverse your diabetes altogether or start getting preventative about this thing that some people consider a generational curse, you're less likely to have to get started on medication in order to manage something that you probably could have prevented right now. If we care about our bodies and we care about our kidneys too, because they keep the rest of us alive, along with our hearts, of course. Now let's talk about medicine, especially metformin, the most common diabetes medication. There's some good news. Studies are now showing that metformin won't actually hurt your kidneys, and it may even protect them when your kidneys' health is checked regularly. But your muscles, however, are going to take a hit. So researchers have actually found that metformin might slow down how fast your muscles grow when you hit the gym. So let's say you have diabetes and your doctor puts you on metformin and you're incorporating resistance training into your routine, it might actually set you back, right? Metformin helps with sugar and it helps protect your kidneys. But remember, if you're taking it, keep moving those muscles with weight training so that they stay strong. Diabetes can weaken your kidneys if untreated. But metformin is generally safe, but you're going to want to stay active to protect your muscles. There are newer treatments that actually help both your heart and your kidneys, but the cost and side effects risks matter too. Above all, your choices matter more than the pills. The main goal is to do your due diligence so you don't have to take medications such as metformin. And if you're wondering where to start, I created something just for you, which is a 6-week body and soul transformation challenge, a life-giving, results-driven program where I guide you step by step through workouts, functional nutrition, fasting tools, and faith-based support. I have helped women lower their A1C, drop medications like Ozempic, and build a lifestyle that honors both your body and God. Join us at jessicadufitcoaching.com. You don't have to settle for managing a diagnosis for the rest of your life. You were made to heal, okay? God did not design you to be dependent on pills forever. He gave you a body that responds to obedience. Obedience to rest, obedience to nourishment, to trust that He made you with everything you need to live in freedom. Specifically, you were able to listen to this podcast episode and learn the benefits and why it's important to prevent diabetes, but also to learn how to manage it properly so it doesn't need to be the rest of your life. After you've rebuked the spirit of laziness in your life, even walking after meals can reduce your glucose spike. Exercise is your secret weapon against insulin resistance. These are 2 things that you need to keep in mind.